Right, here we go. Back again. Alright, and today I'm going to be covering our good friend Elon Musk. And like I said before, Elon is never out of the news. And it's not just every day, it's every hour. There's something new. And of course, Elon and his partner, they've just had a new baby. And he was on Joe Rogan yesterday. This is him here on Joe Rogan, wearing quite an interesting t-shirt actually. And it reminded me a wee bit of a barcode. And we'll touch on that again in a minute. But in terms of the news, like I said, they've had a baby. But it's not really that's a headline, because it's the poor baby's name that's taken all the headlines and attention. Because, well, it's not your average John or Jimmy, that's for sure. And he's also been in the news for predicting that the human language will be obsolete in as little as 5 years. And he reckons that we might hold on to it, but just for sentimental value. So there you go. And it's hard to imagine a world without a language. But of course, this is all about AI. That's what it's about. And we'll touch on that just now. And this is from, 1 day ago, Business Insider. Elon Musk's Neuralink brain chip could be put in a human within a year. Right, so if you remember rightly, like I reported on the other day, this is actually coming from who only a few years ago, a man who was in the camp that was sort of sceptical about AI and was advising that we should be wary of it. Elon Musk, Stephen Hawking and Bill Gates thought that AI was concerning. Well, fast forward just a few years, and of course Elon Musk is now bringing us the Neuralink. Surprise, surprise. And this is from May 7th, 2020. Elon Musk says there's a chance his AI brain chip company will be putting implants in humans within a year. Whoop-de-doo, right? And the points from this are: Elon Musk says the brain implant his company Neuralink is working on could potentially be ready to be put inside a patient within a year. Musk made a similar claim in 2019, saying that he hoped to have an implant in a patient by the end of 2020. Neuralink's chip would be implanted directly into the skull so that it could interface with parts of the human brain. Hip hip hooray, right? Sounds great, doesn't it? And of course, this all starts off with medical reasons, and we'll get into that here. But it's also saying that Neuralink, which was founded in 2016, is Musk's neural technology company that's developing an implant designed to interface directly with the human brain. The initial goal of the implant, says Musk, is to use it as a means to treat brain injury and trauma. Of course it is, right? So this is how they portray it to begin with. This is how it starts. And of course everybody thinks it's a great thing, because who doesn't want to help out when it comes to things like brain injuries? That's a thing everybody wants to help out with, of course. And it then says the chip could potentially be used to restore eyesight, hearing and limb movement, in addition to addressing diseases that affect the brain, Musk claims. The device would be implanted directly into the skull to enable electrode threads to interface with certain areas of the brain, according to Musk. And this is also from Business Insider, and it says that in terms of the Neuralink, it has 3 stated goals: treating brain disorders and helping people who had accidents, creating a brain-machine interface, and building toward a potential symbiosis with artificial intelligence. The first of those goals is the most realistic, in short term. So obviously, to begin with, it's about medical reasons. So everyone is going to want it, like I said. And this is goal 3. The end goal for Neuralink goes beyond brain-machine interface. Musk wants nothing less than a sort of symbiosis with artificial intelligence. So there you go. That's the end game. The end game is being in bed with AI. That's it. It might start off as them helping out to fix things like brain disorders, but really the end game is hooking up with AI, because by symbiosis they mean that an interaction between two different organisms living in close physical association, typically to the advantage of both. It's a mutual beneficial relationship between different people or groups. Right, so we'll be in bed with AI. That's the end game. Now, don't get me wrong. Fixing things like brain disorders and brain diseases is magnificent. But jumping into bed with AI is a very different story indeed. In terms of language, and this is also taken from the Rogan interview, and this is from RT one day ago, Elon Musk says human language will be obsolete in 10 years. After struggling to pronounce his baby's name, as you do, of course. And it's saying that, this is from the interview, Joe Rogan, how do you say the name? Is it a placeholder? Rogan asked, drawing an awkward laugh from Musk. And yeah, it was an awkward laugh. Musk replies, well, first of all, my partner is the one that mostly came up with the name. She's great at names. Yeah, sure, Musk said, adding, it's just X, the letter X, and then AE is pronounced Ash, and A minus 12 is my contribution, which he says stands for Archangel 12, the CIA recon aircraft later developed into the SR-71 Blackbird, the coolest plane ever, says Elon, of course. So yeah, ain't that funny that the kid, the baby, is basically named after a CIA aircraft. What a surprise, right? It then says that as the conversation drifted into neural nets and artificial intelligence, Musk said Neuralink technology, a battery-powered device implanted directly into the skull, could be rolled out within the next year and potentially fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain, eventually, in addition to curing disorders like epilepsy. He said language itself could be made obsolete thanks to the new tech, and perhaps unpronounceable baby names along with it. Right, so yeah, it's coming for sure. And it also goes on to say, this is from the interview, you would be able to communicate very quickly and with far more precision. I'm not sure what would happen to language, he said, explaining that human beings are already partly cyborg, or an AI cyberknight whose hardware is merely in need of an upgrade. Right, and Joe Rogan basically said, well, we're like, at the moment, we're like Windows 95, and we need an upgrade. So yeah, we're already halfway there, really. This has been in the pipeline for years, and Elon's going to speed it up. And it then says, asked about how long it might take before mankind goes mute, Musk said it could happen in 5 to 10 years, in a best case scenario. If the technology continues to develop at its current rapid pace, of course, even in the entrepreneur's brave new world, he said some might still choose to speak for sentimental reasons, even when mouth noises are but a primitive vestige of the past. Right, so yeah, we won't be needing languages anymore the way things are going with Elon and the brain chip, or the Neuralink, or the Neuralink, whatever it's called. And in terms of languages, if you look online, it says that as of the 2000s, a total of roughly 7,000 natively spoken languages existed worldwide. Most of these minor languages are in danger of extinction. What a surprise. One estimate published in 2004 expected that some 90% of the currently spoken languages will become extinct by 2050. Surprise, surprise. Right, so the wheel is well in motion in terms of languages disappearing. In the end game, before it does come, people will want it, no doubt, because that's how they make it. They make the system where people want it, just like the vaccine. And our good friends at National Geographic, they're telling us that from 2018 that every 2 weeks a language dies. So it's only a matter of time, really. And Elon's son's name, I can't remember if it's a boy or a girl, but their baby's name, the first thing I thought when I seen it was a barcode. So I thought it was quite interesting when I seen Elon's t-shirt. That was the first thing that I thought of as well. And maybe just a coincidence, but yeah, there you go. And this is their baby that I think Elon tweeted this photo. And it's got a tattoo filter on it. Now, it's maybe just nothing, but for me, I find it a bit weird and slightly disturbing, if I'm honest. But hey, that's just me, I suppose. And keeping it space related, and in terms of Elon, actually, we'll be back again to speak about Elon, that's for sure. But we'll leave him for the moment. And this is Jupiter, of course. This is Jupiter. This is how we all know and see Jupiter as. And it's got the big red dot. But this is the new Jupiter. Now, this is the new photo that we're getting from Jupiter. And the Gemini observation has shown us this. So it's obviously a different telescope from the previous one. But in fact, it's not. It's basically the same. But there you go. It's a completely different colour. What a surprise. It's also like Venus, that's also changed colour. And this is from BBC News, 8th of May 2020. Scientists obtain lucky image of Jupiter. So it was lucky, there you go. And if you do look up the colour of Jupiter, Universe Today, they tell us that it's basically many shades of white, red, orange, brown and yellow. But not anymore. It's now basically red and black. So there you go. Surprise, surprise. And I might make a video actually on the moon. Because the moon, it's something that's interested me and fascinated me since I was a very small boy. And yeah, I think I'll make a video on it. It'll be a bit of a mixed bag, but mainly on the moon. So yeah, I'll maybe make that next week or the week after. And I won't keep you long today, seeing as it is Saturday. And I'm sure you've got plenty to do, right? But I seen this just before I go from Forbes 18 hours ago. How 5G will unleash AI. What a fucking surprise, right? It's all connected, of course. 5G, Starlink, AI, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Amazon, Elon Musk. They're all connected. And it's all heading one way, of course. But we'll leave it for today. And that is about it. Bye-bye.